Junior Vision presents Red Center Rumble.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a episode of Red Center Rumble Tremors. These are our top 5 Royal Rumble moments that we remember.
Of all time.
Well, that we remember, I guess, right? And then we also have some honourable mentions before number 1. So at number 5, we have, I put this on in there, Maven eliminates the Undertaker. Now this was huge because Maven was kind of like, like a nobody at that stage, not really.
So Maven was the inaugural, you like that?
Oh yeah, it's
Inaugural winner of Tough Enough.
Yep, and then the Undertaker was in like his big evil persona.
Oh, he was the biker one?
Yep.
Okay.
And he was standing, I think he was looking up to the stage for some reason.
Okay.
And then Maven like drop kicked him from behind.
Nice.
And he flipped over the ropes and was eliminated.
Okay.
And I remember everyone was shocked. Maven
yeah, of course.
And then I think also what was funny about that was when Undertaker went over, he kind of, when he flipped, his head went under the bottom rope.
Okay.
And then when he, the rest of his body carried him over, he kind of like slingshotted himself into the rope with his neck.
Okay.
It was funny.
I mean, Maven was okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He just didn't have much personality.
He never really took off, but yeah.
Okay. Number 4. This might be one of your favourite.
Oh.
Is Otis and Mandy.
Oh, I love this. This whole storyline was great, right?
So we had this whole thing was like Otis was infatuated with Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
And then I think Mandy was kind of like not interested, and with Dolph Ziggler, I think, was it? She was kind of like, there was this thing.
I feel like Dolph Ziggler was interested
Yeah.
in Mandy. I don't know if Mandy was.
Yeah. And then like Otis would see them together and be like heartbroken and stuff. Yeah. Anyways.
And I feel like Dolph Ziggler was kind of maybe planting seeds that more was happening with Mandy than it was to get at Otis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it was like a love triangle, but I don't know whether it was or wasn't. Anyway.
So what this moment was in the Women's Royal Rumble. And Mandy was on the apron. And it was on so she was on the far side of the ring. So where the camera was viewing from, you couldn't really see what was happening at first. So she got like kicked off the apron and rolled off. And from our perspective, we just assumed, oh shit, she's eliminated.
Yeah.
And then the camera cut to the side of the ring and you could see her like on top of Otis, who was laying underneath. And he'd caught her.
Nice. Yeah.
And then he lifted her up and put her back in the ring. And that got a huge reaction.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, number 3 of our top 5 Royal Rumble moments is Kofi Kingston and the chair walks.
Yeah, how many of these are there?
Oh, there's so many Kofi Kingston moments. Although the last couple I think he's stumbled on.
Okay, yeah. Well, they just had to get more and more complex.
Yeah.
And that made it more difficult.
Yeah, so the last couple I think he's failed. And then we had Naomi in the Women's Rumble has been doing...
But did hers work or?
Well, she...
I think only one worked, right?
Yeah, I think she landed on like remember the barricade?
Yeah. And
then like walked across and then jumped across to the ladder, which was pretty impressive.
Now there is a bylaw, right?
Okay.
In the WWE, so obviously both feet have to touch the ground. So if one touches, you're still okay?
Yeah, if one touches, you're still okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we won't talk about Zach Gowen. But then there is also if you touch and your shoes are glowing, then you're still in.
What?
So if your shoes glow like Naomi's, then you're still in the... Yeah.
Okay.
But if the minute the shoe stops glowing, so you know how they flash off and on?
Yeah.
So she would have to...
Yeah. Okay.
Also, you just glossed over my Zach Gowen reference.
What was the Zach Gowen reference?
Zach Gowen, do you remember Zach Gowen?
No.
He only had one leg.
Did he?
Yeah, do you remember Zach Gowen?
No, I don't remember.
Zach Gowen was a wrestler in, I remember 2002 maybe?
Okay.
He was good. He was really good.
And he had one leg.
Yeah, one leg. Yeah. And he had like a whole feud where...
Did he have a prosthetic or was he just hopping around?
No, he would take the prosthetic off when he was in the ring.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar threw him downstairs.
Oh. Number 2 spot is, which I feel like this is when I started to watch wrestling. Okay. Around this time period. Okay. This is what kicked off my first watching of like WrestleMania, the lead up from this Royal Rumble, blah blah blah. Right? Is the Cena/Batista same time elimination?
Okay.
Double elimination.
Batista a heel or a face at this time?
I think they were both sort of face. Oh no, this was Batista was still part of Evolution,
Okay.
and Cena was kind of. I think he was either US champ or something. He had been US champ with the spinner US title.
Brand split was in at this time?
Yeah, and this was when they had proper brand split. So Cena was on SmackDown, and Batista was on Raw.
Okay.
They both got eliminated, and then this time you had like SmackDown refs and Raw refs on the outside.
Oh, different. So the SmackDown refs had a blue jumper.
Yeah.
Blue
and
shirt.
Raw was the black and white.
Charles
so then,
Robinson was a SmackDown ref.
Yeah. So then when they were outside, like no one announced who won, and everyone was kind of confused. And then you have the SmackDown refs like raising Cena's hand, and then the Raw refs raising Batista's hand.
Yeah.
And then who should storm out is up for Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon
Oh,
himself.
yes.
When they were all in the ring trying to like say who won,
Yeah.
and there's this big commotion. Vince McMahon comes powering down, throws his jacket off.
The walk.
He jumps up to slide into the ring, stands up and collapses.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I remember it was weird,
He
right?
tore both his quads.
Yeah. And then he was kind of just laying against the ring ropes,
He was sitting up there trying to be this authoritative figure.
And everyone was kind of like, what?
And then I think what they did was they restarted for just them two. And then I think Batista then eliminated
Okay.
Cena. And then
Was it not meant to happen? Or
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that it looks like it was an accident. Like you could not have timed it better to be believable as an accident.
Okay. And who won? Cena.
So I think Batista won.
Batista won.
So Batista won, and this started the whole thing where he had the right to choose of who to challenge. I remember Triple H was trying to convince him to challenge JBL, who was a WWE champion at the time.
But he wanted to challenge Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he ended up doing a whole, like, chuck the SmackDown contract down, and then did the thumbs down to Triple H.
Did the throwback to the Randy Orton. Okay,
Yep.
interesting.
And then
Cool.
that was the whole thing that kicked off Cena's feud with JBL, because obviously Teddy Long was the general manager, and seeing that Cena had technically been the last man to eliminate or whatever, gave him the opportunity to challenge
Okay.
JBL. And that was that big lead up to that. Alright, so before we get to our number one moment, we got some honourable mentions. Now this is an honourable mention only because it wasn't technically a Royal Rumble. It's the greatest Royal Rumble. This was Titus.
Greatest Royal Rumble with Saudi Arabia, right?
Yes. Yeah. Titus O'Neil.
Yes.
Entering.
Yeah.
That's his name, right? Titus Worldwide, whatever his name.
He was good. I liked him.
He was good.
Yeah.
Running down to the ring, trips on the ramp, and falls down and slides under the ring.
So good.
And this was so funny because Michael Cole
just lost it, right? It's one of the best moments. It's so good.
And what's funny is he kind of, like, he wasn't punished for anything. He kind of like ran with it, and they referenced it a few times on like other shows.
It's a mistake, and it's just because he's so big and tall too. Like, he's so gangly, so it looks even funnier.
Yeah. Also, they say that he was very lucky because where he slid under, right next to it, was one of the frames that hold up the ring.
Okay.
And they're saying that if he'd hit that, it could have been quite bad for him. So he was lucky to have missed that.
I think the other thing too is, like, we would have been watching it at like 3 a.m. or something, because which I think would probably made it immensely funny.
Yeah.
Although it is very funny anyway, but I think it was just like, what? Was I half asleep when I saw that? It's very good. Yeah.
Another thing, so another honourable mention I have, we did briefly mention this before, was Drew McIntyre eliminating Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
After he eliminated like 16 people in Royal Rumble 2020.
Yes, okay. That was at the most over moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, our number one of the top 5 Royal Rumble moments. I don't remember which WrestleMania this was. Which Rumble this was. Maybe. No, I don't know. Anyways, it's Becky Lynch.
Oh yeah, this was good.
This was the moment when she had lost the title earlier in the night.
Yep.
And then we had I can't remember who was entering during the Royal Rumble, but they were attacked or injured or something in the ramp on their way to the ring. Somebody was injured on their way down to the ring.
But this was her, so this was the man era, right? So this is the build to the man. So I think that to go back a ways, I think prior to Survivor Series, there was a sort of SmackDown versus Raw kind of altercation or something wasn't there, and then that's where Becky Lynch got her nose broken, blood all on her face and that kind of stuff. Thanks to Aussie Nia Jax. And so she'd been sort of getting over anyway, but being pushed as a heel. But everyone was like, "No, she's awesome," and so the crowd was like, "No, we're cheering her." And then when that happened, she was really bloody and that kind of stuff. And then we wanted the match at Survivor Series because she had the title at the time, and it would have been her versus Ronda Rousey, which everyone wanted to see. And then I feel like the nose injury kept her out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I remember she was like quite emotional in the stands, empty, saying, "I can't do this match," and I've been ruled out. Like I would have done it, but I was ruled out. So I remember there was that, and then I guess all anybody wanted was Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania, and then everything looked like it wasn't going to happen. And then she wasn't booked in the Rumble, so then Becky gets added into the Rumble and wins. Yes.
And then
so this could have been a surprise entrance as well, but it's a moment because it set up one of the most epic WrestleMania main events of the time, and one like a very iconic historic one.
Yes,
it
was the first women's.
And that was a single night, or was it a double night back then?
I think it was single night because I remember Seth Rollins was Universal Champion he was challenging Brock. Yeah, the Universal.
His match might have been first.
Yeah, it was first. Yeah, remember because they stormed.
Which is fine.
I think he always dreamed of having his WrestleMania main event, and it was given to his wife.
Yeah, but they just those girls. I mean, Becky. There was nobody hotter at wrestling at the time.
No.
Yeah. And then you mentioned it later, but the dumbest decision. And all respect to Charlotte Flair, because I have a problem with her, but she should never have been in that match.
No.
The issue was between Becky and Ronda.
Yeah.
That was the match we all wanted to see, and then they added Charlotte in, and it was fine, but it wasn't what we wanted to see.
No.
It was good.
I think there was like real tension between like it was something he could have really capitalised on. Yeah. And Charlotte, maybe she was just put in there to keep things civil.
It was still a good match. Yeah. And Becky won, which is great. So
there's an amazing story that kicked off from that WrestleMania, Royal Rumble moment. Yeah, it was good. Cool. All right, so that's our top 5 Royal Rumble moments. Let us know if you agree in the comments below.